Hello and welcome to this visionary keynote session. I'm delighted to be joined now by Ayeyemi, CEO of Ecobank, the Togo-based Pan-African bank. Ade, great to have you with me.
Thanks for having me.
So look, you're one of the biggest names in banking in Africa, but for those who'd like to know a little bit more, perhaps you could start by telling us a little bit about yourself and Ecobank.
Okay, thank you. I think there's more story about Ecobank than about me. I'm an African citizen that I've put in a lot of training and an opportunity to learn banking across the continent. I was with Citigroup for 27 years. Before then, I was with Unilever for over close to 2 years. And I've been in Ecobank now for about 5 years. Our opportunity to work in the best firms, to be trained by the best professionals, to have opportunity to interact with one of the best customers in the continent. And therefore, I've brought all of that to be able to come to Ecobank. When I left Citi, I was the CEO for Sub-Saharan Africa for Citigroup, based in Johannesburg. I'm sure you know Citigroup is a fairly big institution that's over 200 years. And the talent in Citigroup, anybody that passes through that, what you take away when you're leaving is both the talent and the intellect of people there, as well as the culture that gives you and the backbone of being able to navigate change. We are a Pan-African institution, both in terms of actual in the way we are present in 33 countries across Africa with banking licenses. We are also present in 2 other countries in Africa with representative offices. We have banking license presence in Paris that's supervised by Banque de France. We have rep office in London, in Dubai, as well as in China. But also in terms of outlook, our view is that this continent is one market. For the continent to make progress, we need to all to come together as one market that transcends individual sovereign geographies. It is in doing that that we believe we'll be able to participate in the world activities and being able to bend the arc of history, as other people have said before me, in the right direction for people of the continent. We cannot be this many and this poor. We have to be able to, and that is what Ecobank believes. And we are a partner with all the citizens of the continent in being able to make a difference, using financial services as a vehicle to create wealth.
And as an established and leading traditional bank in the region, how do you go about building a culture of innovation?
The first thing is that we have to understand that when resources are scarce, you need to find a way to make it last longer. African organizations because resources are scarce, they've been able to make it last longer. So as a banking institution, we also understand that infrastructure in the continent is not as good as it needs to be, but the demand and quality of demand by our people is the same as quality of demand from everywhere. And therefore, we have to innovate with limited resources to be able to deliver world-class services despite the constraints of our infrastructure. We have to innovate to be able to find a way to bring new methods of getting things done to people. You and I cannot give an excuse of infrastructure alone as a means of not being able to onboard many of our people that want to have banking services. You and I having this conversation today cannot give infrastructure as a reason why we cannot have a conversation digitally in a world in which COVID has ensured that we are all desk-bound. So we, by definition, have to be an innovator. But we are also innovating in partnership with other people, not just ourselves, the mobile network operators, the fintechs, the government, our people who are our staff. And sometimes we co-create innovation with our customers to be able to deliver something that is better than where we're coming from. So innovation is important to us, but in an environment in which resources are scarce, we need to make it last longer. And that's where innovation comes in.
Right, and you mentioned COVID, the coronavirus pandemic. I'm wondering how it impacted Ecobank in 2020 and what challenges it presented or opportunities, and how you see 2021 unfolding.
Okay, so the COVID, as you know, when it started, it was a health crisis. And the health crisis, to respond to the health crisis by government, they have to also create, do lockdown and disrupt economic activities. And therefore, the first impact on us is on our customers not being able to come to the banks. It's our staff not being able to come to the bank. And therefore, we have to figure out how to enable people to work from home. So luckily for us, because of the level of investment we've done in technology over the years, we were able to respond very quickly. Our customers were able to transact from the comfort of their homes and the comfort of their offices. Our staff were able to work irrespective of where they were located. Of course, we also had to look at customers who ordinarily were good customers, but because of the changes in the social activities and therefore economic activities, they were not able to meet their loan obligations. So we had to sit with them and say, okay, the government has given us the load to be able to renegotiate some of these loans. And we did that because we believe that over time, these companies will come back and they'll be able to be a better company and we'll be able to build back better. We also understand that there are certain opportunities that we need to take advantage of, especially using that crisis as an opportunity to work with the African Union to ask the question that the small and medium scale enterprises that are the backbone of economic activities in the continent, what can we do to enable them to overcome the COVID situation, but also open them up to become a better participant in our economic activity going forward. And we put together a lot of people led by the African Union, NEPAD, African Union Delivery Agency, to say, okay, and work with McKinsey to be able to bring intellect to bear on the challenges, both of the current and also the expectations of the future. So we did all of that because we believe that the continent can actually find opportunity in these challenges. And we are working with our customers because we discover, unfortunately, that a large number of our elite, when they want to go to a good for healthcare services, they just pick a ticket, pick up their passport and fly abroad. But the COVID meant they were grounded. When people want to send their kids to good school, they pack up the kids, they send them abroad. But COVID, we discovered with COVID that the kids are grounded. If they're not grounded in Africa, where their parents are, they are in a room in London and US and all those places studying remotely. So the question then becomes, how can we, as we get out of this COVID situation, how can we create new economic opportunities that is near the countries?
And does the vaccine rollout, Adi, does that impact your outlook for 2021? Are you resigned for it just not happening across West Africa in 2021, so it doesn't really impact you? How does the vaccine rollout and what we hope is kind of the light at the end of the tunnel of this pandemic impact your expectations for the coming year?
So the vaccine rollout, of course, it does impact. Remember, a large number of the infections in the continent are imported. So if there is vaccine in the rest of the world, in the developed world, then the preponderance of people coming into our countries being infected is going to reduce. So the level of people importing the COVID situation into their various countries is going to reduce. The economic consequences of COVID would then reduce because now the rest of the world is opening up, demand for commodities is going to look up, the economic activity is going to look brighter, and therefore we believe that the vaccine is a game changer. And as that becomes more prevalent in the developed world, it will also start flowing over into the developing world. So I believe that the vaccine, both in terms of reducing the impact on the developed world, on the rest of the world, and on being able to allow economic activities to go forward, as well as vaccine impacting the rest of our continent as well in terms of physical jabs at people, will enable the economic activity to go forward. But it is not going to wait. The economic activity will not wait for the vaccines before it starts happening, because we will see demand happening well ahead of that. Right. And also, what we then need to start thinking about as continent is not just the question of how can we buy this vaccine from the rest of the world. How can we participate in the manufacturing of the vaccines? If we are 1.3 billion people, we cannot depend on manufacturing taking place in one part of the world. We have to figure out, because we have a huge demand, and this is not, we don't know whether this vaccine is going to be one that for many years, something that will be taken annually. So our strategic plan has to be to cooperate with the rest of the world to locate some bit of manufacturing in the continent, so that the question of building back better is something that we are able to achieve.
Okay. Now, you know, even with the pandemic going on, you recently launched an e-commerce platform for micro, small and medium enterprises across West Africa, and backed by some big names in fintech like Flutterwave and iPay. What's the idea behind that?
The idea behind that is not just West Africa, it's across the continent, by the way. The idea is we cannot wait until everything is settled before we start bringing new opportunities for people to participate in the new economy. And we believe that as a bank that has the ability to interact in 33 countries, we can actually start engaging with other people. We cannot solve all the problems ourselves. We have to bring other partners to bear. We cannot pretend that for every problem that needs to be solved, everything needs to be built in-house. No, we have to engage in partnership with others and co-create value. And as we bring it to bear, it enables people to be able to meet their demand digitally on the web, because a large number of our people are now present on the web. So as they are shopping, we then need to make it easier. And that's the essence of being able to, of bringing that on, and also trying to advertise to people that the fintechs are not problems, they are part of the solution.
So we should expect more collaboration with fintechs from Ecobank going forward.
You should expect more collaboration with fintechs, with Ecobank. Expect collaboration with schools, because a large number of our universities and research centers have a lot of ideas that if we can partner with them, they can bring those ideas to market and be able to get value from it. So our educational institutions are not only places that get subvention from government, they are also places that create economic activities and get value from it. So you see us partnering with, of course, government will do, but with universities and educational institutions, with fintechs, and with all the other, with mobile network operators, and also partnering with other banks, because it is in being able to come together. Certain things are basis of competition, certain things are basis of collaboration. There are things we all spend money on today around, you know, KYC, know your customer, identity, and co. That, you know, we can all create a pool and we all benefit from that pool. So there's a lot of things that we need to do so that as we go into the future, a large number of our expense dollars are spent actually creating value for our customers.
In September 2020, Euromoney ran an article headlined, "Nigeria is Ecobank's Achilles heel." What are some of the challenges that you are having in Nigeria, in what is your biggest market, and how are you planning to resolve them?
So I think if you look at Nigeria, again, like the rest of the world, there are always business cycles. The business cycle in Nigeria has been challenging in the last few years, as you notice, whether it's because of reduction in commodity prices and therefore the consequence of that on economic activity. Economy went to this player in a country with a recession. Of course, you have the consequences of that. And we've walked through some of those challenges that we had in Nigeria around the portfolio. We've done that work now over 5 years, and we're at the tail end of solving that problem. We also had issue of challenge around question of productivity, where we have a large branch network, whereas right now digital is the best offering. Again, we've managed to reduce those assets that we don't need. And we're now in a position to actually leverage Nigeria as one of the fulcrum of innovation, where we are doing, those innovative activities you mentioned is based in Nigeria. One of our large data sets, and we're trying to pull what is good in that environment, especially innovative payments and that is good in that environment, use that to scale up across the rest of the continent. Haven't dealt with the portfolio challenges we have, haven't dealt with the expense challenges we have. We are now in a position to use that country as one of the fulcrum of innovation. Of course, we are not reducing our investment in Ghana, our investment in Cote d'Ivoire, our investment in Kenya, all of those centers of economic position to also bring Nigeria as one of those cornerstones of activity that ultimately will define what the firm is in terms of a diversified multiple sources of income stream.
Adi, we're pretty much out of time, so I just wonder if just in 1 or 2 words you can sum up where you think banking, or where you think Ecobank and banking across West Africa will be if we came back in 10 years' time and had this conversation again. Just 1 or 2 words, if you could try and sum up the difference or the progress that will have been made.
Ecobank should become, in the next 10 years, as I say, will become a premier financial institution across the continent, not just West Africa, but across the continent. And banking will become a much better factor of economic activity. We're now introducing new products, because products around household, being able to get mortgages that is not there today, cards and credits, organization being able to give people ability to consume better than they are earning, and digital as a means of transacting and reducing the cost of services, and including almost everybody in financial services. 10 years is a long time, but by that time you will see it done.
Okay, Adi Ayeyemi, CEO of Ecobank, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you so much.